We're also live on Twitter Spaces, which appears to be imminently owned by Elon at the original deal price. This is the breaking
The
news.
fact that we were expecting a settlement, but I kind of thought there'd be, at least like a couple dollar haircut at a minimum. My sense is Elon probably kind of knew he didn't have the best of the legal case there.
I think it's not a coincidence that this is happening the morning after the controversial tweets he was making yesterday.
Yeah, and his deposition was scheduled for later this week. These things typically settle before you get to like a multi-day deposition. What do you think about the Tesla stock price?
I thought any settlement below like $50 would be good news for the Tesla stock, but I thought any settlement above that, like, and at the full price, for example, Elon, it's implied that Elon has to sell a few more $1 billion worth of Tesla shares to finance this, and that's why you have this kind of marginal hit to this Tesla stock immediately.
Who doesn't want to go in on a deal where Elon's going to be in control of something? I mean, he has such a kind of ridiculous track record of just generating absurd returns. Frustrating as this whole saga has been as like a Tesla investor, and I think from a humanity standpoint, like stepping back, I am really excited and just happy and relieved that there's going to be one solid bastion of free speech out there.
I'm super excited for Twitter. If Tesla was at all-time highs, maybe I'd trim some Tesla to try to get more involved in Twitter. But I still think Tesla personally is an incredible value proposition for the long term. But I'm just super excited for Twitter to be like the medium of the future now. But I think yesterday the big drop was a combination of a category of investors that don't understand the bot, combined with then on Sunday the production deliveries being in the 340s.
The market seems to be saying that there's a pretty significant demand issue. And if you think back to the beginning of the quarter too, I mean, you did have the plant being shut down for, depending on which model, it was, like 3 weeks to 6 weeks, I think, something like that. It was an odd quarter for sure, but I'm a little bit frustrated that the communication was like just basically zero on this. If you want like a practical robot that has economic utility, you want the lowest manufacturing cost, and you want it to have the brains to be able to learn things.
The good thing is Tesla has the expertise to build the hardware. Probably equally as hard or more hard is actually the brains of the robot. A lot of people don't really understand that, and I'm still trying to understand it. Building OpenAI language models is one thing, but the brains of a real world AI is very complicated, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Elon's very cognizant of like not wanting to enable the machine revolution, so he wants like humans to actually be able to overpower them, which sounds kind of funny, but it's actually, I think, a pretty smart consideration. He's very clearly concerned about the direction of humanity right now. The window where we can become planetary might not be open long. He views that as much more of a constraint or like an urgent, limitation than, his money.
One other thing about Tesla that came out yesterday is this Google rumor.
I mean, the details were really scant. I mean, it was essentially just a rumor I saw in a couple different places on Twitter that just said, Google and Tesla were rumored to be in talks about a partnership. Not enough detail to know what specifically they're looking at, and let alone could it be meaningful financially. I'm actually a lot more concerned about demand in China than I am in demand in the US. Talking to people I know, like the vast majority of potential car buyers out there, I don't think are actually aware of the Inflation Reduction Act. And there actually has not been a definitive list yet from, I don't know if it's EPA that puts this out or if it's the IRS, but which vehicles actually qualify for the $7,500 credit. Like my sense is there's not a whole lot of consumer education on, just how big this tax credit is yet.
I agree that it's in the best interest of humanity for him to help steer us, in a safer direction. Elon knows he has a ton of influence. Sometimes it backfires, and he knows it backfires a lot of times and gets a lot of personal attacks. But as he mentioned yesterday, he doesn't care what people think of him personally. He just wants to do what's best for the world. And I totally believe in that.